Those who were teenagers in the 90s, what piece of technology took you a long time to adapt to during the turn of the century? I mean, we didn't hit Y2K and suddenly go from throwing spears at each other to using iPads like some kind of Neanderthal time-slip comedy, which would be totally 90s. This stuff got developed as we grew up, so we just went through each iteration. If anything, it was less like massive change, like how you don't notice yourself getting fat until it's too late. Except Kylie Jenner. Why the hell do people care about what that girl does? Greater than except Kylie Jenner. Why the hell do people care about what that girl does? TV told them to. I didn't want a cell phone because I didn't want to be reachable all the time. Well, that's no longer allowed. Be like me and have no friends. I'm reachable 24/7, but no one ever reaches out. It's great. My phone absolutely never rings unless it's spammers or my wife. Hey, at least you got the wife though. Dual thumb controllers on video game systems. I sucked so bad it solidified PC mouse and keyboard gaming forever. What you know about your mom picking up the phone and disrupting your StarCraft game? Social media has been my only hurdle. The fact that people are so willing to put their faces and real identifying information out to the public on the internet just frightens me. The blind trust that consumers put into these corporations is astounding. I still think the internet should be an anonymous, decentralized frontier. Still, with the death of dig.com https://dig.com, it feels like Reddit is all that remains. Voat ended up just being a racist clone of Reddit. Oh, how I miss the days of going onto more than one website. Greater than Voat ended up just being a racist clone of Reddit and with candid fashion police. Video calling, Skype/FaceTime. Whatever it's called these days. Well, I still haven't adapted. My younger siblings insist every call must be a video call. Nah dog, I'm good. Edit, and I'm generally on the front lines, keeping up with the tech, recommending them products, troubleshooting their problems, etc. Seriously, why do I need to see you to talk with you? Maybe I'm multitasking, maybe I'm pooping, greater than maybe I'm pooping. Or masturbating. I waited to get a smartphone until almost everyone else my age had one. I always used to say that I don't need to have the internet with me all the time. Once I made the switch though, there was no looking back. I delayed because I knew as soon as I had one I'd be staring at it constantly. Tablets. I still only ever use a laptop or a smartphone. I had, and still have, a hard time with friends looking at cell phones while we are hanging out. I remember when hanging out with the friend was the entertainment. I have a friend who will invite me over to watch a movie, and then spend the entire time looking at Reddit. It makes me feel so awkward. Constant, normalized surveillance. I'm still not accustomed to it, and I never will be. My kid is 11 and it blows her mind to hear that there didn't used to be video cameras all over schools, stores, and stoplights. Or that we could go shopping in the airport mall, or walk right to the gate to meet someone coming in on a flight. We didn't have to worry about data dragnets or deepfakes, full body scanners, or the long-term implication of biometrics and how that data could be weaponized in the future. I think that's the biggest thing. Teens and early 20s now will never be able to grasp just how different everything was pre-9/11. Not just the technology, but also the sociological blowback. We used to trust each other so much more, weren't as suspicious of strangers' motivations, etc. It makes me really sad to think about how normalized it's all become and how there is no going back. Greater than I think that's the biggest thing. Teens and early 20s now will never be able to grasp just how different everything was pre-9/11. I'll die on the hill that 9/11 is the generation marker that defines the millennial and Gen Z demographics. If you can recall 9/11 clearly, you're a millennial. If you can't, you're part of Gen Z. Even with that though, lots of people didn't really experience what things were like before 9/11. You could have been 10, and still remember 9/11 clearly. It doesn't mean you had really experienced what the world was like before then. I had traveled extensively before, and since. After 9/11, travel is a totally different thing, among many other changes. The militarization of police. The polarization of politics. The ease we have in speaking to people on the other side of the planet on a whim. Some of the changes are good. Some are bad. Some are just changes. It makes me wonder what it was like for my parents or grandparents. People who only ever knew post-Vietnam, or post-World War II, or post-Depression. iPods. I got a Zune instead. Arcos Master Race. All my friends has iPods and I had like 10x the capacity and video capabilities. For less cost. I had an Arcos tablet. At the time they were way more powerful than iPads and much cheaper. Edit, just looked it up, it was the Arcos 101 G9. It was a great tablet for 2011. GPS. You can pry my Thomas guide from my cold, dead fingers. I use it but I've never been a huge fan of GPS. Mainly because I don't like not knowing where I am going at all. So I get on the Google and look at all the landmarks and cross streets. It just makes me feel better. The concept of not hiding your identity online. Always lie when asked ASL was drilled into me. So the idea that someone can just mosey on over to Facebook and find your personal information is wild to me. I said that earlier. When I was a young teen first getting online, two things were drilled into us: never use your real name as your screen name and never give any personal info or meet anyone from online. Now there's an app to meet strangers to fuck from online. Lol. And never get into a stranger's car. MP3s. I should have known CDs were going out when CD player prices dropped to $10 a pop. Streaming. I like actually owning music. I'm torn by this. I still feel pride in owning my own music. Feels like a personally curated library. But streaming allows me to listen to such a huge variety of music so much more affordably. What annoys me is the service may be gone in 5 years and there may not be any way to rebuild and get every song like I once had. Laptops. I remember the old ones my dad would have for work, and how they really sucked compared to the desktop we had. Once they started having them in schools, I still thought they sucked. I guess I knew that they would naturally get better, but the idea that a laptop would ever be powerful enough for things like gaming, serious computing ability, or small enough to be carried conveniently? Yeah, right. Not anytime soon. Looking back, I know how dumb it was, considering people have had the same feelings for everything from electricity to the telephone. But at the time, my aversion to them and being dismissive about them really put me at a disadvantage for a few years. Now we have plenty of people who will never own a computer because cell phones. I have a Samsung and DeX isn't great, but I love the idea of it and seeing it become a norm. I work with children and the amount of kids and teenagers who just cannot type at all is seriously shocking. Phones and tablets have seriously hindered children's ability to use computers. Bluetooth, strangely. I was a you can take my headphone jack when you pry it from my cold dead hands type of person, but now I use Bluetooth exclusively, even when I still had a headphone jack in my phone. Ooh, I was not cell phone savvy. I had no idea what a Bluetooth was. In college I saw a lady talking to herself in the grocery store. It was so weird. She looked normal but she was going on and on. I pointed this out to my, now, husband and he said, oh yeah, she's got Bluetooth. Fast forward several weeks and it comes up again, so I ask for clarification about this slang for what is obviously a mystery disease that makes people insane. He's never let me live that down. 15 years later and he still cracks jokes about people who've got the Bluetooth. None. I miss those days when I was so tech savvy. Now I'm 40 and I feel less and less in touch with every passing year. Been there. Done that. That looks stupid. Why would you post your personal information online and share photos of your family and house? Fuck it. I don't want to be a part of this internet shit anymore. Thank fuck whiskey has stayed the same. YouTube. I'll never forget when they didn't have any goddamn commercials. You could binge watch videos all day. Now it's all garbage including the people. If you don't want ads, download an ad blocker. Born in 72, so not sure if I qualified. iPod. To be honest, I've never really figured out Apple's interface. When I finally got a smartphone, at 2014, it was an Android. I remember around 2002 or so I was given an iPod as a present. I may still have it somewhere, it's practically unused. It's funny, I love my work-provided MacBook, but cannot imagine using anything. Android is much more intuitive for me. I'm not sure this is a generational thing though. My sisters, older and younger than me, and parents all swear by their iPhones and iPads. Cell phone. Why would I want people to be able to find me wherever I am? I was right. My mom always called it an electronic leash. I never really understood it until I got a work phone, and I have dreaded every phone call since. For me it's shit like LinkedIn and building a professional social media and networking presence. I'm not really into regular social media, so it's something I never did or built. I didn't understand the importance of a clean social media presence until I was turned down for a job because I used the word fuck online. Holy heck, I have to burn it all now. I still don't understand how to use Excel beyond the very basics, and I've worked in finance for close to 20 years. I just recently got halfway decent with Excel and it was worth it, but I was so resistant. Still can't format in Word for shit though, and I have to write a lot of documentation. Greater than still can't format in Word for shit though, and I have to write a lot of documentation. It's really the worst. It's like quit trying to anticipate the format I want and just let me type. Streaming media versus owning a copy. Software as a service in general. Touch screens. I kept a phone with a hard keyboard for a long time. Stored CC#s on websites. I remember when you could get a one-time number for special transactions. I'm still against cash apps like Venmo. Everyone that says I need it takes cash. None of them. We got dial-up internet when I was about 13, but I have been using computers and electronics my whole life. It all seemed like a pretty natural progression to me. Came here to say this. We know tech pretty damn well. We don't usually fuck with apps like TikTok, but that's not because of a lack of understanding of why it's appealing. It's because TikTok is stupid. Let me pretend to sing becomes famous. Born in 79. I don't know if it counts as technology really, but apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats. Part of it is because I think the idea of MCDS being delivered to me is the epitome of laziness, but also because I just don't want cold French fries. Also, in the 90s, going to MCDS or any other restaurant was a treat for us. Having it delivered cold to your door just doesn't have the same appeal. I mostly agree. But then one day I was homesick as a dog and had chicken noodle soup delivered from Chick-fil-A. Not tech, but assuming someone knocking on your door is a stranger starting in the 2000s versus a friend visiting your house in the 90s. Life used to be simple. Took me a long time to get on board with texting. I remember telling one of my buddies, why would I text you when I can just call you? It's much faster, and I never pick up a call unless it's family or work. Yep, same here. I thought texting was so stupid, just a fad. How wrong I was. Streaming, I still don't like it, as I rather own all my movies, TV shows and music on hard drives. I also never got into the streaming to your own TV or the media boxes people use. I might change for IPTV since there's insane offers. Like get all premium channels worldwide for like $10 a month, pirated. I don't mind streaming, but if I do worry if someday the services that I have bought things on will go under or just decide to no longer provide that service. Interests change. Very soon the iTunes store could be the MySpace of the movie and music buying world. At what point will they decide to stop allowing access to content you bought? The constant availability of a seemingly endless stream of entertainment, in any form. I still can't adapt. I should be sleeping right now. I can't pick a specific item, but I used to use a tape player a lot in the 80s to 90s. I would record radio songs and pretend to be a DJ in between. When CDs came out, I just didn't care for them. I couldn't record to them, yet, and they were expensive. I think we owned a Mozart CD as our only CD for the first 5 years. It wasn't until I had a CD player in my own car that I even bought them. I was the same with not getting into CDs. I had so many tapes full of songs from the radio I could hardly keep track of them. I basically stuck with tapes until the early days of MP3s. Owned maybe 4 CDs in my entire life.